And how you guys like that new intro? Look at that.
Wow,
Like,
whoever
looking
that
sexy.
was. So young.
Well, before the wrinkles set in,
Right.
thanks to
Yeah,
Game of Thrones.
and
Yeah.
Photoshop.
Those HD cameras they got up here now in the new studio.
Where's the makeup artist at?
Right.
So what's going on, guys? Let me start. This is Dallas Beer Talk. Before we jump right into it, I'm your host Victor Santana. We got token lesbian Kirsty. We have beer guru Andrew, and then the man behind the veil who's taking care of us right now, Ziggy. But he's gonna come in here in a little bit. But yeah, we can't do the show without him. But anybody heard about that Game of Thrones leak? What's going on with that?
I may have peeped that a little bit on Facebook.
I may have watched the whole thing. I don't know.
So
At work,
our now recurring Game of Thrones segment we have going on here.
Yeah, it's really leaving me out over here.
Oh,
Except
man,
I will
Kirsty.
say I'm surprised because I feel like Orange is New Black. A lot of leaks are happening right now, but the only time I've heard someone admit to watching the leak is Game of Thrones. So
I don't know. I said allegedly. I watched it at work.
I like both series, but Game of Thrones is definitely better.
yeah,
So.
I can understand. Can't really wait. There's too much action in it. Gotta see who dies.
Well, Netflix got me spoiled where you can watch all the series as much as you want. You know,
Yeah.
you watch it. You've been watching one weekend.
And then now with Game of Thrones you have to wait every Sunday.
Fucking week.
and you're
That's so stupid. I hate it. Yeah,
It's kind of
Just-
nice though to top up your Sunday.
Wait for the series to end and then binge it.
but then you get the spoilers. But then people are gonna spoil it for you. It's all over Facebook.
So I was telling Victor earlier that apparently the people that hacked HBO, they were holding like all their scripts and all the leaked stuff that they had stolen hostage, and so they were going to
paid.
charge HBO like however many millions of dollars or $1 million.
Yeah, that's huge now. This is like the third time it's happened
Yeah.
recently.
Oh yeah, and they're holding it ransom. So it said, pay us, just make it part of your budgeting. Yeah, budget us in.
So
And,
stupid. How you gonna pay
hey.
us millions of dollars? They're not gonna pay you. Just leak
I
it.
mean, they technically
Just leak it.
stand to lose some money off of it, I guess.
Just leak
But I
it.
haven't heard of one. Maybe it's because we never hear of it. But none of the television shows I've heard of have actually said yes. Like,
That's true.
It's not worth it to them. If you're a true fan, you're gonna watch it anyway.
Yeah.
Well, so so Game of Thrones is one of the biggest shows internationally. Like it's massive. Let's say on the low end, only 10 million people watch it, which is super low, super low. That's ridiculous low. Only 10 million people watch it, and then you leak it. Maybe 500,000 people will watch that leak. Maybe if that, they still gonna make their money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still gonna get
I
their
agree.
ratings.
It's a trade-off too. I mean,
Yeah.
I know I could watch it all on Facebook if I wanted to.
Fire stick.
But I think I'd rather watch it in HD on
Facts.
my TV. So I mean, yeah, there's some trade-offs to it, but
I'm
Yeah.
a type of fan that I'll watch the early, like say a movie released early, you know, thanks to leaks. I will watch it just to get the twist, right? But then I'll watch it in a movie theater still.
oh, you still go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, I need to watch it again.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm like, I've seen it. There's no reason for me to go and rewatch it, quality or not. But
So the
Well,
dark,
see, wasn't there one movie a few years ago where they did a total plot twist where I guess someone leaked it? Was it Harry Potter? I don't know. Anyway, someone leaked it, and then she was like, well, now I'm going to change the ending, so fuck all y'all.
that's like a
Right? That happens. So now you have to watch everything that actually airs.
Yeah, that's like your parent. You find like the Christmas present under the tree, you know, and you like open it and check it. And they're like, all right, I'm gonna go return that. And you're not gonna get that present.
You get a
wow, I
rock.
never had that one before either. You guys are rough.
Yeah. Parents,
No,
man.
yeah, man, yeah, that's interesting to change the ending. No, I do it because I support the movie. Like The Dark Knight was released in China early, like bootlegged. Remember that? I watched that early. You know, the super
I didn't
dark.
know illegal things at that age. So
What
So young
How did Batman sound with a Chinese
with a Chinese
voice?
accent.
Yeah,
He sounded very masculine.
very masculine.
Very masculine.
Yeah,
Sounded amazing.
Same.
No, but I still watched that movie like 20 times in the movie theaters
Yeah.
in HD.
because it was really good.
Oh, first of all, there's very few movies that I go watch multiple times in movie theaters. The Dark Knight and Ted is probably the ones that popped in my head right now.
Very different.
Very very different.
The Dark Knight, I think, like, say we were working, and then like I just saw the Dark Knight. It's like, oh, I haven't seen it yet. Do you want to see it? Like today?
Let's go.
Like, I'll go with you. They're like, didn't you just watch it? Yeah. Let's go.
That's ironically the same thing I did, and now I will never watch Dark Knight again. I saw it one too many times.
I have it on Blu-ray. I've watched it I still watch it from time to time. It's like Forrest Gump to me. I watch that movie whenever it's on.
Let's not get into Forrest Gump.
Oh my
Or
God,
Tom
it's the greatest
Hanks.
movie. What? What's wrong with Tom Hanks? The greatest American actor of all time.
Well, let's get into drinking though, because I need a beer after this week.
It's been a rough week. We're gonna get into drinking. So we have two special guests. We have Coop or Co-op. I don't know.
Just kidding.
We'll ask
No,
her.
it's Coop. We have Coop coming on. Courtney, and then we have our really close friend Chanel coming supporting us again, showing us love. So we're gonna take a quick 30-second break, intro promo for Coop, and then we're gonna bring everybody on. So be right back. Oh, we're back.
Here
Yeah, I
we
told you we'd
are.
take a quick break.
Very quick.
It was a very quick break. So, of course, Chanel, your hair is blended into the green screen.
Oh no! I'm so sorry, people.
So Chanel is actually a unicorn, guys.
Chanel is very
Yes.
special.
You're welcome.
Very.
That is awesome.
Well,
It's so weird.
for those of you guys that don't know, we have a green screen here, so that's where that beautiful little logo splashes
Yeah.
behind us.
These beers are not 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
I really want to see what that looks like on a computer. That is so strange.
That's interesting. Well, and none of us, we got Courtney here as well from Coop.
Oh.
Yes. Hey.
Hi, everybody.
She's the one that
Welcome.
brought the beer.
Yes,
Hey.
tons of beers for us. So tell us a little bit about Coop or Co-op. How do you say it?
So I always say we answer to both as long as you're talking about us. That's great.
There you
But technically it's Coop.
Coop.
Ale Works. So in the beginning, a lot of our founders are from rural communities where the co-op was sort of like a central part of the community where people, gathered and always went. So co-op was the original intention, but you can't be called a co-op unless you are a co-op. So
Very nice.
Coop worked on a couple of levels because Coopersmiths are the people that make the rings and the barrels for beer. And that's a common beer term, cooperage. And so we kind of shortened that and also played off the co-op. And
Very
so, yeah,
nice.
you can say either.
Well, I got chastised because I am only 28 years old. And in video games, when you see C-O-O-P is co-op, for players, for two players.
Oh.
Right.
So we said that, and someone here, I don't want to name names, chastised me. Yeah. Unicorn.
There's no hyphen. That's just the English major in me speaking. But
I do believe Chanel was like, it's C-O-O-P, English language, that's coop. So,
Yeah, like
yeah.
there's no it's right next to each other, brah. Like,
I dropped out of school, so
okay, well, I'm sorry to make you feel very insecure, sir.
I'm not insecure about it. I'm very successful.
There you go. Well, so Courtney, tell us what all do you do for the company? What's your role? What's a typical day for you look like?
there's no typical day,
That's
as
awesome.
is evidenced by me being here.
Yeah.
And thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. My title is North Texas Sales. So I started with Coop last May. We introduced the brand in Texas last June. So we've been in Texas. We've been around since March of 2009, but just in Texas since last May or June. So moved down here from Oklahoma, and my job basically is to sell the beer in all of North Texas. And since then, we've brought more team members on in Texas, which has made my territory a little more manageable.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think you made a statement that the first year here you put 30,000 miles on your car.
I did. Yeah.
That's rough.
A lot of driving.
That's rough.
A lot of driving. So you may know this, but Kirsty and I we're both from Oklahoma.
Oh, I did not know that.
Everybody
Yeah.
on the
Super
show is from
excited about
Oklahoma,
this.
including Ziggy, even though he's not from
And
from-
Ziggy for sure. Yep.
He's not from Oklahoma.
Went to
He
college out there.
Exactly. Chanel's from Oklahoma too. I don't care what she says.
What part are you guys from?
Well, longest I lived was Lawton, Oklahoma,
Okay.
Fort Sill area.
Yeah.
So
That's like, I mean, the Wichita's down there are beautiful.
Yeah, Wichita Falls.
There's a Wichita Falls in Oklahoma too.
No, just Texas. But,
Oh.
I mean, it's Texoma.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
They like all claim each other. It's
Oh,
its own
gotcha.
little state.
It's like
Yeah.
Texarkana border kind of style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Texoma's better. So
I agree. I've been through Texarkana. And yeah.
yeah.
Kind of rough. Kind of rough. Yeah, I was born in Ada, Oklahoma.
Okay.
Then I grew up in Bartlesville.
Oh, so all over the state.
Yeah, and then moved down here, going to like fifth grade.
Okay.
So I've been here ever since.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm more Texan than anything.
There's a
so.
lot of, we call it like cross pollination, which,
Yeah.
you know, everyone always wonders like how an Oklahoma brand does in Texas. But there's so many Oklahomans have moved down here or traveled up there that,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and we're closer than Houston. You know, it's like we're the little brother. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
Except for football season, college football, then it gets a little rough.
Oh yeah, true. Red River
That's
Shootout.
true. Are you still an OU fan? Have you changed to Texas?
oh, well, I wouldn't say if I had on Eric's, my dad would kill me.
So are you OU fan? Because
I'm Sooner born and Sooner bred, but I don't have a dog in the fight. I went to Clemson, so.
Hey, I like it.
Did your dad just like shake his head whenever you told him you were going to Clemson?
I mean, yeah, to put it mildly.
Clemson's a good school.
We want to keep it safe for radio.
That's a
That he
good-
shook his head. Yeah.
So this is the New Yorker here, so the Clemson definitely resonates with him.
Yeah. And plus, they're just, you know.
I don't really care about college football, honestly. I mean,
But if you like winners, you like Clemson.
Oh.
if I like winners, I like I like different schools.
Right.
No. So no, you bless us with your presence and a lot of beers and a lot of cups. So all these different cups is from Co-op. But what is this? What is this? What type of glass is this?
So
Like
it's
this-
called a Teku. Teku is the style, and it's meant, the stemmed glassware is typically for something that's going to be higher ABV, and just like something that you would do a smaller pour of, and that's a little
fancy.
bit, a little bit more limited or rare. So that's for our Territorial Reserve series.
Nice.
That's our barrel age series. We do 4 releases a year, and Territorial Reserve is named. I have a hard time saying that. But
English
it's-
major.
I know, but it's it kind of, if you look at the logo, it's got a covered wagon and a horse and a shotgun, and it's
wondering
it's
what
basically referring to the Oklahoma land rush.
The
And
Sooners,
so
Boomer Sooners.
yeah, so a lot of our names, F5 is a tornado designation. That's our most popular. That's an IPA.
good beer.
Native amber in reference to the native population in Oklahoma. So we try and kind of stay true to our Oklahoma roots with a lot of our brand design and logos.
Very nice. So on that note, talking about beers, what beer should we sample first?
Well,
Guide us, young lady.
Yeah, you pick.
Yeah.
I would like to start with Saturday Siren. So that's going to be the light blue can in
All
that
right.
cooler.
I'm in
right
charge
there.
of picking up the beer, so let me grab those.
Okay.
Do something.
Saturday
have a
Siren,
glass.
yeah. So that's another perfect example of the logo being something that's sort of true to Oklahoma.
Y'all have glasses? How are we?
Bam.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say, I was like, what's going on here? I know you fucked up again.
Yeah. So, a side note for people who's been following us, keeping tabs with the show, I am notorious for forgetting stuff. And today I forgot glassware again, thanks to Chanel. And then I forgot the flash drive, which I had to go buy one. So,
Hey, but we're here. We have glasses. We have
Yes,
beer.
and beer.
Yeah.
right.
What more could you want? So Saturday Sirens are summer seasonal. It's the first year that we brewed a summer seasonal. So it kind of just finally filled out that
are you
lineup.
drinking on air?
I sure am. Yeah.
I like it.
Perks of the job.
Young man that was here last week, he would not be named. Did not drink. I felt cheated.
Really? You didn't drink?
I feel like he had a little bit, didn't he?
Mm-mm.
Not on air.
No, okay.
Just after. Or maybe
Yeah.
not after, depending on
He,
why he didn't drink on air.
it was definitely
Yeah.
a lot of fun, though.
This is
Yeah.
the one that we had that huge debate in the
Yeah.
night that we had it the first time. Do you remember? And it tastes. I don't want to. I'm not. But it had some really distinct
I want
characteristics.
them to. I want to hear what they
Yes,
taste
absolutely.
before
We
you
do
tell them
eventually
what
get
you
to know.
taste.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you'll. But
So-
I feel like it has a very
has
specific
a-
aroma.
It does.
Mhm.
And I get kind of where your
Yeah.
perplexity would come from.
So it's a Pilsner, which is super classic style, and this one's dry hopped. So the dry hopping doesn't really impart any bitterness to the beer, but it does. It's a late addition of the hops. So the note, if you put the hops in the boil, the alpha acids get into the beer, which is what causes the bitterness. And if you do the late addition in the whirlpool and later dry hopping it, you just get a lot of the hop aroma. and that's what we were going for with this beer.
I like it. I mean, again, unfortunately for me, I am not. I'm not
Guy.
not a hop guy, but it tastes good. Tastes great. The smell throws you off.
I
Yeah.
find this one, I call it approachable but still interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's got more going on than your typical, I say, you know, like Bud Miller Coors would, and it's not off, like it's not super aggressive like an IPA.
Yeah, that's definitely
yeah.
what turns Victor off. I think about some of the IPAs. Is
Yeah.
that, so.
I get
I
like
don't like
lemon
aggression.
zest
Than what I
quality.
thought.
You don't like you're a lover.
Yeah,
not a fighter.
it smells more aggressive than it actually
I
is.
don't know about that.
Well, and you were, I think that it's interesting to know, us Texans know, we would call this the Wednesday siren because Saturday
Yes.
siren is actually the day, so the first Saturday of the month is when Oklahomans test their sirens.
Every Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Every
it's
Saturday.
every Saturday?
So we wanted to call
Okay.
it noon siren because we're regional. We're in about 6 states, and almost in most of the states in our market, they test the sirens at noon. But there was an issue with noon siren. It was too close to another beer name, so we went with Saturday siren. But it's noon on Saturdays in Oklahoma, and so when you hear the siren, it's kind of the unofficial, like, it's okay to start drinking kind of thing.
There
So.
you go. Hey, I like that.
And this is a good like grilling out Saturday day drinking summer beer. So
It is so
yeah.
perfect. Guys, way I would like. We're still working on how we rate things, but I don't know how you guys feel about it. But I feel like this is definitely a beer to drink by the pool.
Sure, it's
While
very
you're grilling
crisp.
out, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Oh yeah.
Where's the young lady?
No, I was just saying earlier that I think it's a lot smoother than what it smells like.
okay.
Exactly.
So I'll take a smell first, and then be very intimidated, and then take a drink of it,
Sure.
and maybe
Pleasantly
very
surprised.
pleased. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
So
I really liked it.
I am kind of curious because I know, so being from Oklahoma and knowing about like how beer in Oklahoma is a little bit
Mind reader, because I was asked that question.
watered, not as a watered, and less ABV.
Yes.
You know, how does that go as far as being a brewery in Oklahoma, and what does that mean for your beers?
That's a great question because there's a ton of misconceptions, and actually the laws just got passed to change everything. They won't go into effect until next October, though. If you want to pull the white can out of the cooler, that'll kind of
Explain it.
yeah.
Perfect.
So basically in Oklahoma there are 2 strikes. Anything we call it 3-2 beer, and it's 3-2 by weight. Most alcohol percentages that you guys see is by volume.
Okay.
So 3-2 by weight ends up being about 4% by volume. And so Spare Rib is a beer that we actually brewed because we wanted, I guess the law states you can't sell anything above 3.2 in gas stations, grocery stores. You can't do happy hour on anything but 3.2. There's a few more restrictions.
Yeah.
So we basically brewed Spare Rib and a couple other beers at that strength so that we could have a presence. And at the time, we could only sell 3.2 in our tap room. And
Wow.
That's a lot of restrictions.
Man,
Sounds
bringing
like
it down
the
on you.
chat room.
yeah,
Because I think we kind of discussed this on air before, but I mean, do you feel that kind of hurts you guys? Does that push people that are trying to get buzzed more towards like hard
liquors.
liquor, or kind of?
maybe, but you know, our liquor stores aren't open on Sunday, are only open till 9. You know what I mean? So there's not the ready availability to, you know, and I think that's why they wanted to do it. And we could get into, you know, a whole host of reasons, but the 3.2 law really does benefit some of the larger breweries.
True.
They have
Ones that
a
aren't worried.
monopoly on, you know, they have a monopoly on gas stations and grocery stores. And the law is passed, but it's been kind of a rough road because a lot of the things that got passed with the 3.2 being abolished also means that now, you know, previously liquor stores or anybody that's carrying strong beer, wine, and liquor could only have 1 license. So there's no specs, there's no Total Wine, there's no chain retail.
Oh, wow.
So in passing this law that is getting rid of 3.2, we're also saying we're allowing chain retail, which puts, you know, there's the potential, is that going to harm some of the liquor stores that have supported us? You know, it's going to be harder for them to compete. So, I mean, it's a lot of the laws were just antiquated prohibition, and it was time to sort of move in the right
Right.
direction.
Oh, yeah.
The tap room law was super restrictive. There was no
That's-
reason to have a tap room. You know, because you can't really, and the other thing is brew pubs could only brew beer that was 3.2. So if you're a brewery serving direct to the public, like a Brain Dead, or you're not going through a distributor, it would have to be 3.2, and you can't brew true to style at that.
Yeah.
True.
Well, and that's why I was pretty impressed when you said you've been a brewery since 2009, because I remember back in 2009, I really didn't know of any beers. No one knew of beers in my Oklahoma town. We just didn't drink it, and only maybe 2 years ago did craft beer actually start becoming
Coming.
popular. So I'm amazed that you guys started in 2009 and have been able to stay open and
Yeah.
growing. It's what it sounds like, really growing now.
And the laws and just, so Chalk was the first brewery in Oklahoma. It was in Krebs, Oklahoma. Chalk is the only one that's around, I guess, that there's been a couple others that came and went. But Marshall out of Tulsa opened in 2008, and then we were the third one in the state in 2009, which is crazy.
Wow.
And I think now there's 27, if I'm not
Wow,
mistaken.
really?
Yeah, but there's 55 in DFW alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Crazy how it's been ballooning over like the years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, it was I think a big part, and the way I got started with Coop was I worked at a craft beer bar in downtown Oklahoma City, and I just think, there was a lot that Coop did to educate the consumer. That was the biggest hurdle, is like
That's true.
a beer with fruit in it or a hoppy beer, or like there were all these things that were just so wild and so not what people expected.
Yeah, that's a
And-
good point. I never thought about that.
Yeah, just getting the consumer on board, and that's,
Yeah. And getting the mindset out. Like when I moved here and learned about craft beers, I was like, freaking hipsters. I'll never get into
Yeah.
that. And that was my Oklahoma mindset.
And the can thing is, there's a lot of people that, getting the cans and the price point, and just what a craft brewery is and what it means. And there's still a lot of stigma. I know a brewery here that was just trying to get a license, and there was a school or someone was not wanting it. And that happens a lot in Oklahoma, where there's still this, basically just a stigma that
I think that
we're
was out in,
troublemakers and
out in like Garland or somewhere.
somewhere I thought in mid cities, HEB.
Yeah.
I've been following that on DFW.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
talk. Yeah. I forget what it starts with
Turning
T.
Point.
Turning Point. That's
Yeah,
right.
that's what it
yeah.
is.
So
Well,
spare rib, I guess, what
let's
got me into
forget about
that.
Turning Point right now. They're not here, so F them.
Oh.
We're-
Sorry. Excuse us
Spare
for
rib-
getting into a conversation.
Spare rib is one of the beers that we brewed to be 3.2 that we could sell in gas stations and grocery stores, and very quickly it became really popular. It's a session pale ale, which is one of the fastest growing styles in craft beer right now. So it's 4%. Again, it's got the late edition hops, which make it hoppy but not bitter necessarily. You get a lot of that really flavorful citrus profile up front, and then nothing lingers.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
makes
It's
it
very-
really easy to drink and really refreshing.
This would be a good way to introduce somebody to an IPA, I feel like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's a baby
Oh,
IPA.
yeah,
gateway.
absolutely.
All the
Yeah.
beers so far have been very clean and smooth. I really like that.
Yeah, I think a big goal and a big shout out to our guys in production. Quality control is a huge priority, and we have.
I can help out with that if you need me.
Oh,
Tell
sure.
Me. Quality control. It's my
Yeah.
game.
I always
Ship
say
them
I do
here.
a lot of research and development, mostly
There you go.
research.
Ship them out to Fort Worth and Dallas. We'll take some safe transport. We're good to go.
That's funny.
Yeah, but we've got Sean Savuda is the name of our quality control specialist, and he has a lab coat and beakers and does all sorts of things that make no sense to me to make sure
wow.
that the beer tastes
Lab
good
coats and beacon mean nothing.
every day.
It
Well,
means nothing.
it's very convincing.
It is. It is.
I work in
And
a
he's
lab.
also brilliant. Like when he talks, I try and jump, so most of it doesn't go over my head, but it doesn't work. So,
Unfortunately, all three of us work in labs, and so we're not impressed by lab coats.
oh,
and beakers.
okay. Well, he was on a panel recently, and we're like, you have to wear your lab coat on the panel.
Yeah, there you go.
And he did, but he didn't want to.
Aw.
Why did you strong arm him? Strong arm. Ugh, I can't speak. Fuck it.
It was
That'd be
just
funny.
a kind suggestion that he chose to follow.
Yeah, I felt like you beat him up and told him to do it. But that was a good beer. I like it a lot. It's very smooth. Like you said, it's nothing overpowering, and then it doesn't stay on your. Doesn't have a bad aftertaste. It's great.
Yeah, that's
Definitely another beer to introduce, young people to
Young people.
of age.
Oh, okay.
I said of age. Calm down.
18-year-olds, 21.
If you're Puerto Rican or Latin, definitely 16, 15. By
I thought they were about to say 6 or 7.
Parent supervision, though. Parent supervision, definitely. Every beer, even when we, excuse me, like every beer we had from, even beers that we met at
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods
Bites and
Was-
flights.
was great.
No,
It's
that
been
was-
great.
That's
So
just one night. That wasn't a. Yeah.
Trying to-
big
trying
You
up
to-
shouldn't
your-
always
what's the guy,
bring
quality
that
control?
up, sir.
Sean Savudo. But
Sean.
there's a bunch of them back there.
No,
yeah.
Sean. I don't care about the rest. Sean, big ups to Sean. Doing your thing.
Cheers to Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Beer tastes great. And so, who comes up with the concept of beer? Like, do you have your own input? Like, who comes?
No, not typically. That's way above my pay
Pay
grade
grade?
and talent. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Talent abilities. We have a head brewer named Blake Jarlam, who's been with the company, I believe, since 2010 in full-time
Okay.
capacity. He does a lot of the recipe development. there's a lot that goes into it. There's hop contracts that you have to consider in terms of what sort of hops we have available to us, and it's a very dynamic industry. I mean, right now Northeast IPAs are all the craze, and I think we try and be relevant but not reactionary, and still brew what we want to brew. But the Pilsner was something that the Pilsner was, I think, a passion project for him and something he really spent a long time developing. And I've been tasting Pilsners for about, I think, 2 years, unlabeled bottles that, they're just like, how does this taste? I'm like, it's good. They're all great.
Keep them coming.
And I think that, there's the back of house. We kind of divide it into back of house and front of house, and back of house guys do a great job. But yeah, Blake takes the lead on the recipe development. And then we've got my boss is the marketing and sales director. And so I think there's a lot of branding input there. There are they do crowdsource things. There's a date code on the bottom of every can, and we also just take the opportunity to write something funny or sometimes not funny.
I never noticed that.
Yeah, so this one on the bottom of Saturday Siren says, "Don't be alarmed, citizen."
Hey.
And then, 6-pack short rib. And yeah, some of my favorites for spare rib was no spare liver required. That's what ABV. F5, our IPA, my favorite was it's F5 o'clock somewhere.
There you go.
Yeah.
Little dad jokes.
Dad jokes,
There you go.
exactly. And there's very limited by number of characters. And sometimes if something happens, I think we'll make jokes maybe once in a while at Kevin Durant's expense or something.
There you
like that.
go.
Yeah, there you
The
go.
cupcake jokes.
We don't speak his name here. That weak man. Traitor.
Oh man,
Let's roll up with the next beer. What's the next beer?
I think we can go to our Oktoberfest next.
Hey, Oktoberfest.
Tis the
Let's just
season,
run through the
or
beers
tis
real
about
quick.
to be.
Now, we had your favorite beer from Coop, or
My current favorite beer that we can, because I'll differentiate that, is a Saturday Siren. F5 is my old standby, which I know you guys have had before. I think I did bring some, though. But yeah, it's like choosing a favorite child, I guess. But
Easy. This is how I equate it. Everybody has a favorite kid. And I'm gonna give you a quick rundown by that.
Victor doesn't have any kids.
not all his favorite.
And if I had a favorite kid, it'd be one. Yeah, trust me, you only got one favorite. So you have 2 kids, right? You love them. You love them equally. I'm not saying you love one more than the other. You love them equally. Thank you, ma'am. But here's his reaction is the best. So you have one kid, you hear him fall, right? If you love him, but you were like, he's all right.
okay.
But if your favorite falls, you be like, oh my God, what happened? You all right? Can you make it? All right, let's go.
Did you hurt your arm? You still pitching the MLB? You're gonna be good. My
Hey,
money
so
maker?
what was your mom's reaction when you fell as a child?
Oh, it's a good one.
I did not care.
I didn't care.
It's like, who fell?
Your brothers?
Oh,
Ran to them. Ran to them. No, but that's the best way. I make fun of people with parents or that because I've seen it over the years. I'm not saying you don't love all your kids. You
Right.
can have 40 kids. You love them all.
Dang, that's a lot of kids.
Wow.
But
That poor
you know,
lady.
it has to be one. Why has to be one? It could be multiple ladies.
That way, that's not the
Poor
Duggars
dad.
way.
Right?
But you have that. I've seen it all the time. You have that one kid that falls, and you be like, "Oh my God, what happened? Are you all right?" Just
Could
reactionary.
that just be the baby of the family?
True.
Because that
or-
becomes your favorite, though.
She's gonna baby's a favorite.
The older one's gonna take care of me probably when I'm older. So
Usually, but that doesn't mean it's your favorite.
Well, let us sample.
Let's sample.
Yeah, let's sample this.
What's this one called again? Hold on.
So it's just
Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest. Yeah, on the can we highlight the O and the K, obviously, because Oklahoma, and we've got the sort of traditional label.
I didn't notice that.
that's my favorite so
before.
far.
It's good,
Very
right?
good.
I love to hear
Yeah,
that.
it's mellow,
Yes.
clean.
Yeah, mellow, clean, not overly sweet. It's really traditional Oktoberfest, and I think that, it's super early. It's August. I get it, but this gives me hope that fall is near.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
We're
This
about to be
summer
drinking
hasn't
out of
been-
steins
Yeah.
and hanging out outside.
Not dying and melting in the summer heat.
Yeah,
You were saying
exactly.
about how your AC went out on you.
Oh,
Did.
No, did it?
Oh man.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was getting up to like 90 in my house.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah, A lot of back porch sitting. But now my house is 80 and it feels divine. So like my electricity bill is going to be so low. Like,
So I would still be cranking that down to like 75, 74.
70.
It was
The house
weird.
at 70 plus the fans on.
it was like one beer in my hand and like one beer like on my like neck and wrists. Like it was intense. But yeah, this is going to get us through to football season.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how much? What's the ABV on this one?
I believe this one's 5,
Five?
6, or is it just straight 5? 5, 6. Okay.
This is
Just
a good
embarrassed
lager.
myself.
No, this
I feel
is
like I would drink a lot of these
Yeah.
in one
Yeah, this-
sitting and get drunk.
This
So,
is definitely go to the bar, drink a bunch of these with a bunch of friends.
Yeah, so what's the, maybe Chanel has some good input on this too. Like TABC law, it prohibits selling Oktoberfest style like at until a certain time. No? Who was it that told us that?
No, it
No.
didn't. I wasn't allowed to sell. So I had an event that I wanted to sell Oktoberfest early. Basically, I wanted to do Oktoberfest in July, but that particular brand had not sold through their previous seasonal. So TABC would not allow me to bypass their previous seasonal to go ahead and sell their new seasonal. And that is what was prohibited, not the fact that, hey, you can't release Oktoberfest early. It was just
Got
that they hadn't sold through their previous seasonal first, if that makes sense.
That, yeah. I totally took what you said and I did not pay attention.
Yeah.
Well,
No
I think another one was, I can't remember, it was either Manhattan Project or Bitter says it has Oktoberfest style beer, but they don't want to release it because they said it doesn't sell well until outside.
Speaking of Manhattan Project, I ordered a bunch of kegs from Manhattan Project just for you this week.
Did you get their
Yeah.
the new Pina Colada IPA?
I didn't.
Oof.
No, but
I wanna
now that
carry
I
you.
know that it is around, I will order it.
I'm gonna definitely we're gonna have that on the show.
Yeah.
May have to go stop over at Taps and Caps because I know they have some over there. So
Next week we could reach out to Manhattan Project and be like, hey, come on the show.
hey, but it's probably not as good as the peach stuff that Coop brought us this week.
Word, good segue.
I'm super excited for trying that
I will say that I am a big fan of Manhattan Project and
Yes.
have liked almost
Well,
everything I've tried from them.
Bro, big
So-
ups to, I feel like, me personally, I'm a big critic of beer. Like, I'm not a big beer drinker. Like, I also like just like stouts. I like stouts. The lagers are always good because they're easy to drink. But that's my style, what I choose to, and it's very simple, right?
Yeah.
Both those styles are very simple, and I'm very critical of a lot of beers. But these last few breweries we've had on, all the way from like Penny Coast was good, everybody was good, but I just feel like every brewery has come on, one after the other, just getting better and better and better. Starting from Penny Colas, Manhattan Project,
Bitter Sisters.
Bitter Sisters, Ballast Point. I keep saying Blast Point. I don't know why.
Keep correcting.
Thank you, sir. And Coop.
Continue to do so.
Oh, I know.
And Coop. You know, everybody's just getting better and better, and our styles of beer is getting. I enjoy it a lot more. You know.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And we always say, we understand, like, there's a million different types of drinkers out there at a million different points in sort of your beer journey. I mean, no one starts off drinking, or very few people start off drinking, an IPA. Like, so we try and make beers, we always say, like, you're not going to like all of them, but you're going to find one you love. Like,
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
true.
all we ask for. Like,
Definitely.
I love all of our beers, but we understand, like, I do demos all the time, and to see people's varying reactions is great.
You try to
There's
fit
kind of-
their taste.
yeah, and that's what, on the best days of my job, I would like to consider myself, especially for my accounts, like a beer consultant. Like, yeah, I'm selling beer, but I want to sell a beer to you that makes sense in your establishment and that makes sense for your guest,
Yeah.
and that makes everybody,
Can we be beer consultants for you?
yes.
I think it's pretty cool because when you have like a passion for beer and the kind of styles and you can explain them all and to try to fit it to somebody and kind of share that passion and get them into craft beer, I think that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think we teased the people enough about that peach beer.
Yeah.
So
So there's an unlabeled bottle in there, which is less sketchy
Means
than it
it's
sounds.
really special.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stop playing with the ice, man.
So I said earlier, you asked what my favorite beer was, and I differentiated between can and bottle. All of our barrel aged things we do in bottles, and so this is just a one-off. The guys in the back of the house wanted to brew a peach Berliner Weiss, and we
so it's a
released some
one-off?
of it in Oklahoma, but we aren't going to really release it anywhere else. They used some. I wish I could remember the amount of peaches they used. per batch, 30 barrel batch,
The
but it
right
was
amount.
it was intense. Yeah,
Since
it's a lot. It takes a lot.
everyone who has
So
tried it
good.
seems to really like it, do you think maybe eventually it'll be something you bring on? And you
I
just haven't
do.
had the...
Yeah, I think that you know, the Berliner Weiss style maybe is not quite. I mean, Goza's here have kind of caught on, so I think this could catch on. And it's about 4.7%, a lot of peach flavor. You know, you do have the tartness, and I'll finish my Oktoberfest before I get into that.
No, I'll save something for you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. And so it's cool. And I just, you know, those guys brew tons and tons and tons of F5, so I think it's nice for them to be able to have the creative freedom to do something.
Kind of mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day.
So can you explain to our viewers what is a Berliner Weiss?
Berliner Weiss is a traditional style, and it's not sour, but typically has like a tart flavor, wild yeast to it. And then this one we added peaches too. So with the sour, it is sort of hard to get some of those fruit flavors to come through, but I think we accomplished
I'm a
that
little nervous.
here. Not a sour person.
We got
So
the sour
think
queen
Goza without salt.
Yeah,
Salt, yeah.
Yeah.
it's good. And I'm
I believe it is traditionally German as well.
yeah.
So this is a sour, huh?
It's on its way.
Yeah,
It's on its way to a sour.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is the only sour that I genuinely really like.
Okay,
It's
because
not
we're not
even a
there.
real
Like for
sour.
me, I don't typically drink things that are super tart, super, you know, on that end of the spectrum. I can go as far as a Goza or Berliner Weiss because they're not quite.
I think it's really good, and I then again I do enjoy the sour spectrum, so it is kind of up there, and it's very tart, but it's good.
Yeah,
Very
And I
good.
love that I can still really taste the peaches.
you
in it.
can. Okay, good.
That's
yeah,
really good.
I love it. It's so fun. One of my good friends that I worked with in Oklahoma was talking about when he got into craft beer, and telling his mom, like, I had a beer with fruit in it, like you know. And now it's so cool that it's just like I think a lot of people that drink craft beer are like, yeah, like there's all the fruit IPAs and all the fruit, you know. There's just so much that people don't think beer is. Like you were saying 2 years ago, you know, craft beer you thought was for hipsters, and now you're drinking a peach Berliner Weiss. Like that's
Yeah.
amazing.
You are now a hipster.
And I
Yeah, you
appreciate
are.
that. Yeah.
We are not hipsters. We do not support hipsters.
Whatever.
We don't talk.
But we like
socialize
Deep
with
Ellum.
hipsters. You're not a
so-
hipster, young lady. Don't stare at me like that.
I was saying, like, a lot of people would call me a hipster, you douchebag.
You're not a hipster. The hipsters that have that like monocles when they walk outside. Some weird ass outfits.
The little pipes.
The little
Little
pipe.
pipes.
If you see anybody at a bar smoking a pipe, don't talk to him.
Oh, it's that poor old man in the corner.
Forget him. Forget him.
Get
No.
him. Forget
Van
him.
Wagner right there.
He was a hipster before being a hipster was cool.
Old
Yeah,
school
still-
hipster.
Still a hipster.
OG hipster. Right
Yeah.
No, Andrew likes to make fun of me. I have a problem with being called a hippie. Apparently, I am a hippie.
He
What?
is.
Are you a
By
hippie or a
definition.
hipster?
Hippie, by
Why would you
definition.
be a hippie?
I love drugs.
You love drugs or one particular type
Oh,
of drug?
a lot.
Alcohol.
Alcohol, legal stuff. Yes,
No,
very
I think
legal.
he was like looking up different like definitions of hippie, and he like ticked off all like the certain ones of the one he was reading. He's like, oh my god, I think I'm a hippie. I'm not a hippie,
Identity
am I?
crisis.
Yeah. Only thing that
You're a
I-
hippie.
Yeah. Only thing is I don't look like a typical hippie, but apparently by definition,
You're a New York hippie.
I think they call those hipsters. Unfortunately.
Oh,
Fuck.
damn. Yeah.
Fuck me.
Fuck
could be
you.
No, I don't know. I'm not. I don't like labels. I'm a
Oh,
millennial.
but you
I mean-
label everybody else, you fucking douchebag.
I mean, I'm anti-labels,
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Obviously.
as I label everybody
You
else in the world.
hypocrite.
Yeah, no, this is good. No, I really like this beer. It's again, unfortunately for me, this is not a style I will gravitate to, but it tastes great.
Yeah, no, I
Definitely
appreciate
tastes
that.
great.
And that's why we make so many different kinds. But I'm also not a sour person.
But I think for people who are not sour, again, like the IPA we had earlier,
Mm-hmm.
it's something to introduce them to. Like it's lighter on the lighter end that you could drink it, and then you'd be like, okay, I could get the hint where this is going, where it could lead down to.
Yeah,
You know, so it's good. Definitely for people getting into beer, this is a good way to start.
yeah.
So where can we find all of the different Coop beers?
Whole Foods.
Duh.
Well, besides Whole Foods, Whole Foods
Whole
is
Foods
everything.
is a great supporter of us. We are in Specs and Total Wine. Our more popular brands, which are our F5 IPA and our Horny Toad Blonde, you'll find those in a lot of the Tom Thumb and Albertsons. We're in a few Kroger up north, Goody Goody, I'm trying to think anywhere you might find your favorite craft beer, hopefully.
May I ask you a question that I've just generally always been curious about and have never asked you for some reason?
Not on this show. No, I'm playing.
No. The horny toad. I have a lot of guests that get it specifically for TCU.
Mm-hmm.
What is the association with the horny toad blonde and Coop Ale Works?
There's not. So we've been brewing Horny Toad since we opened in 2009. Horned frogs are native to the Panhandle of Oklahoma, so
Okay.
it fit into sort of our
Okay, so
Oklahoma
it's just
themes.
like a geographic
yeah.
thing? Okay.
And we decided, you know, it isn't a purple can in Texas for a limited time, but I think it just made sense.
Okay,
to
so y'all
kill.
just do the purple can in Texas?
did. So
Oh, okay.
what is here will be the last of the purple cans. The yellow is the original color of that can.
Oh, so we're
Interesting.
just depleting
The last of the purple cans.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Interesting. So
So-
then it will turn yellow.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So everybody go out and get those limited edition.
Limited edition purple,
Purple
horny
cans
toad. If
of
you have
horny
any
toad.
TCU
Yeah.
fans, yeah, now or never.
Well, why not keep it purple for Texas, like for especially TCU region?
Because not everyone was a fan of it.
Yeah.
Well, purple.
Yeah.
Friends for like purple.
Being the school, particularly,
Yeah.
like some little conflicting.
Yeah.
We
Issues
ain't worried about the board members of the school. They could,
Right.
they could all f off.
F5 off.
F5
F5
off.
Put that on the can, guys. Put that on the can. There we go.
Dad joke. Dad joke.
I love it.
He
Yeah.
is a father.
Yep, that's right. Got the dad jokes. Working them up.
He's working on it.
Next time they crowdsource something for the bottom of the can, I'll, yeah.
Pencil me in there if you would.
Does he get
Everybody.
credit to that? Can it by Dallas Beer Talk or by Drew?
I don't know. There would have to be enough.
There's too many letters in there.
Yeah. letters.
Because it's F off. Like you could just F off.
F5
F
off.
off
F5 off,
by
yeah.
Drew.
Thank you. Make my mom so proud.
We're gonna do like F off Drew and then alienate every person named Andrew. And, like,
What's up with this?
F5 off, Drew.
what did I do?
I did really like the brewery up to this point.
What
Got
a
too many
turn.
Drews out there to worry about.
That's
Do
true.
we have that F5 though?
We do.
You
Oh,
wanna try that one?
yeah.
Yeah.
What a good segue.
Segues. All
Start
right.
practicing at home.
How does that go at home? I'm just standing in here like, all right, give me a topic, babe. All right. Here's some.
That would be a beer segment.
Just wait for that perfect moment.
We've had F5 before, so just now we're doing it in the camp because last time we had it in.
No, we had the Alpha Hive.
we had the Alpha Hive and F5.
Oh, did we?
We had both.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
why I had both.
He had two growlers.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I thought we had the Saturday Siren in the Alpha Hive.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they said F5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
That was my
we
first
remember the
time with
Alpha Hive.
Saturday.
Yeah. And then I remember we're like, okay, what are other beers? And she was like, the F5, that's the one. So
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
F5 is our darling child. This
Yeah.
is our
your favorite child, if you would.
Yeah, I would be very concerned if this can fell off the table.
Exactly. See, point proven.
I would dive to save it. But yeah, F5 has been, I think we added it in about 2011, West Coast style IPA, and it's more than half of what we brew. It's super well received. Yeah, this is, all these beers make my job easy, but this one makes it the easiest.
Very nice.
Yeah. So,
I can tell you this. I'm definitely becoming a fan of West Coast style IPA. Oh shit! It's 7%.
Oh, I didn't
Shout out.
realize that.
7.1%, yeah,
Shout out.
85
Good
IBU,
rules.
but it doesn't, I mean, yeah, it's right on the, go ahead.
Question: what's the difference between 7% alcohol and 85?
So IBU is international bitterness units. So if you're looking at, so a single
Hey.
IPA would probably fall somewhere between the 60 and 80 range. That's why this one's almost in the double. There's not really any perceived bitterness difference after 100, but like Alpha Hive is 100 IBU. So the higher on the IBU scale, the more bitter it is. And then the ABV obviously is just the alcohol percentage.
So apparently, I like the higher ABVs.
And the lower IBU.
Yeah.
Yes, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
So, hey, I'm learning because my friend Diego, shout out to my roommate. He was like, "Hey, what is the difference here?" I was like, "I don't fucking know. I'm not the beer guy."
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm just the beer guy. Why are you asking me? And then SRM is on here, and that's standard reference measurement. That just tells you basically what color it's going to be. So,
I had no idea on that one.
yeah, fewer people know or care about that. But
What about was it gravity? Specific gravity?
Original gravity is something
Yeah.
that they measure that I don't measure. I let my Oklahoma come out there. That I don't really have a great understanding of. The higher the gravity, typically the higher the alcohol percentage. So when you say high, if you hear high gravity beers, it's probably going to be a pretty intense stout or
I've never heard that
something
before.
imperial.
I haven't
That's
either.
more
Yeah,
of
I
a
think
has
it's
to do with like
the brewing process? Is it
Yeah,
more like
exactly the chemistry.
I want to say it's something to do with like the amount of sugars and
Maybe fermentable sugars, and
that
therefore like
leads
the
to
weight of the
more
beer.
alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Why are you trying to make me look stupid, man?
no, I was just curious. I wanted to know the specifics
us.
behind it.
Oh, the F5 gets part of the
You should
green
know.
screen too. That's
I
fun.
should.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
should. You're a
she's-
homebrewer.
you're-
You hope.
Oh, does it?
I'm not.
It gets.
Whoever
look
said
at
I was a
there.
home brewer?
We could. I just made that up.
Oh no wonder you moved it. Like you
Yeah.
can't see this can at all.
Wow.
Oh, you can.
You can see the F5 though.
Oh wow! So he just changed
But
the
it
color
is
of
green.
it. That's
It's-
awesome.
It's green.
Not
No, it's
brown.
green. It's the green screen. It's hitting the see like how it's changing colors. Look at that. My face is gone.
That's a limited edition can, guys.
Yeah. don't look for it. It's not,
Sorry,
it's not there.
sorry, Jedi.
Man,
Sorry
this
for that.
green screen is a blessing and a curse.
I think it's mostly a blessing.
It's mostly a blessing, except for unicorns. You know, unicorns can't be seen here.
They're all sparkly
I'm
over
not
there.
dyeing my hair for y'all.
F5ers.
Very nice.
But still like it canned. We had it on tap. F5, still good can. Either way, it's good beer.
Yeah, that video that you guys saw was from IPA Day, which is like kind of a Twitter social media holiday. And, you know, one of the big components of IPAs is you want them to be fresh, which is part of the reason we put dates on our cans. The sooner you have it after it goes into a package, the more hop presence you're still going to be able to taste. Those are going to start to fall off after a little while. So for IPA Day, we're selling cans right off the canning line and selling drafts right off the bright tank. So we like hooked up a little party pump to the
Awesome.
bright tank,
Yeah.
and it was like literally minute old F5. So that was what that video that
Oh,
you guys
man.
saw was. Yeah.
I can't imagine.
My favorite F5 statistic or quote or whatever you want to call it is that the top 3 things sold in liquor stores in Oklahoma are Kendall Jackson Chardonnay,